So Bangladesh's business scene is growing, and it is growing fast. And all that growth brings a ton of complexity, right? So the big question isn't just how do you grow, but who can actually help you navigate that maze? Well, let's dive in and explore the consulting landscape to find that answer.
Okay, so your business is ready to take that next big leap. Maybe you're scaling up, expanding into new markets, or completely transforming. But let's be real, the path forward is rarely a straight line. Who can you really trust to help you see around the corners and grab those big opportunities? And here's the thing, this is a huge shift in how we should think about consultants. The best ones aren't just giving you a fancy PowerPoint and walking away. No way! They're in the trenches with you. They're true partners in execution. They roll up their sleeves and help you build the very foundations of your future success.
All right, so here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll set the scene and look at the new challenges that businesses in Bangladesh are facing. Then, we'll break down the different players you can partner with, the global giants, the local growth gateways, and the data specialists. And finally, we'll give you a simple checklist to make sure you pick the right one for you.
Okay, so first up, Bangladesh's new business challenge. I mean, it's no secret the economy is just on fire right now. Exports are up, digital is changing everything, and new industries are popping up. But with all that incredible opportunity comes, you guessed it, a whole new level of complexity that you really need expert help to get through.
So how do you handle all that? Well, this is where you start looking for a real partner. The whole game is shifted from just getting advice to finding someone who helps you execute. It's about sharpening your strategy, yeah, but it's also about managing risk and actually turning those big, ambitious plans into a reality. Let's kick things off with the big guns, the giants of global strategy. You know these names, right? They're the global powerhouses. You bring them in when the stakes are high, when you need that big picture, structured transformation, and the kind of credibility that gets the board and international investors nodding along.
Okay, let's break down the big four here. Think of it like this. PwC is your go-to for really complex projects with a lot of moving parts and stakeholders. KPMG is perfect for those high-stakes governance issues where compliance and strategy absolutely have to be in sync. Deloitte really shines with large-scale transformations, and EY is fantastic at walking that tightrope between pushing for big growth and making sure all your compliance boxes are checked.
And this quote about PwC really hits the nail on the head. Their value just becomes crystal clear when things get complicated. You know, when you're juggling tons of stakeholders, you have strict reporting deadlines, and the board is watching your every move, that's when their super structured, methodical approach really shines.
Okay, but what if you're not looking for a massive internal overhaul? What if your main goal is just growth, like getting your products out into the world? Well, that brings us to a really interesting category of partners, the growth gateways. These guys are all about one thing, connecting Bangladeshi businesses to the world.
And here we've got two fantastic examples. Trade and Investment Bangladesh, or TNIB, and the Bangladesh Trade Center, BTC. Think of TNIB as your one-stop shop. They give SMEs and exporters the whole package, strategy, branding, you name it. Then you have BTC, which is more of a laser-focused growth partner, really honing it on the hands-on work of building those market connections and making cross-border deals happen.
You know what's really cool about TNIB's model is just how practical it is. It's not just theory, this is a step-by-step roadmap to get you from A to B. They start with a solid strategy, back it up with real market intelligence, build out your brand, and then, crucially, they make sure you're actually ready to compete on the world stage. That is execution.
All right, so we've talked about big strategy and we've talked about global growth, but what if what you really need is just solid, hard data? What if your decisions have to be backed by deep research? That's where our third group comes in, the specialists in insight and impact.
And in this space, two names really pop up. You've got Light Castle Partners, your data gurus. Basically, if your motto is show me the data, they're probably your first call for things like market sizing and consumer research. Then there's Innovision Consulting, who are experts in managing these huge, complex development projects, especially the ones focused on social impact and ESG goals.
Okay, so we've got our three main groups, the global giants, the growth connectors, and the data specialists. So, with all these options on the table, how in the world do you pick the right one for you? How do you make the right choice?
And look, this is probably the most important thing to remember. There's no single best consultant out there. The best one is the one that's the perfect fit for your specific problem right now. So what do you need? A global strategist, a growth connector, or a data specialist? To figure that out, let's just run through a quick checklist. Think about it. What's your company's size and scale? What industry are you in? What are you really trying to achieve right now? And, of course, what's your budget? But maybe most importantly, what's your big long-term vision? The answers to these questions will point you in the right direction. So, as we wrap this up, the big takeaway here is that choosing a consulting firm isn't just like hiring someone to fix a problem. It's a huge decision. You're picking a partner to help you build the future of your company. So the question I'll leave you with is this: who will you partner with to unlock that next level of growth?